everyone, welcome back to Beyond Studio Pilates. My name's Hannah, and today I want to take you through a gentle mat work session that's going to look at mobilising and building strength in your main muscle groups. I hope you really enjoy this. We're also going to really focus on the breathing and take it nice and gently for this session. We're going to come into our threading the needle next, so 4-point kneeling. If you find this uncomfortable on your wrist, remember you can always make a fist or have something a bit softer under that wrist if you need it. So coming into your 4-point kneeling, going to make a good box to start with. So wrist is under your shoulder, knee is under your hip, tilting that pelvis so your tailbone is pointing off towards you. This is a really nice rotational exercise for your spine. So we're holding in the middle, eye line down, taking an inhale. And then on your exhale, you're going to slide your right arm through the gap between your left arm and leg, holding for an inhale. And then exhale, bringing that arm back, making sure that you're putting it down under your shoulder, holding it here for an inhale. And then exhale, through the gap between your right arm and leg. Check that you're not leaning back, so you're keeping your hip over your knee. Imagine your hips can't move, knees can't move, so there's no backwards movement. Coming back on your exhale to the middle, holding in the middle for an inhale. And then exhale, through the gap, just rotating through that mid-spine, holding it where you can. Belly button to spine, core engaged. Really using the breathing to slow you down and control the exercise. Thinking pelvic floor engaged. Let's do one more to each side here. So eye line stays down between your hands, and then as you turn to the side, you're looking to where your fingers are going, feeling that rotation through your mid-spine. As you breathe out, think about reconnecting with that pelvic floor. Okay, so you can continue doing that, or we're going to add in taking a leg out. So you're going to take your left leg out, stick your toes to the floor, hold it here for another inhale, and then exhale. Take that arm through the gap. This time you can let your hip move, really stretch out through that arm, and then exhale. Bring your arm in line with your shoulder, rotate towards the ceiling, look to your fingers, inhale, and then exhale. Arm comes back down, hip comes back up, leg comes back in. Other side, so right toes sticking to the floor. The more you can kind of stick your toes into the floor, the easier you'll find it, because as you rotate, you can then push back into that foot. Come up, bring your arm in line with your shoulder, and then rotate through your mid-spine. So think about your rib cage doing the moving. Look to your hand, inhale, and then exhale. Arm comes down, hip comes back up, leg comes back in. Holding in the middle, other side goes out. Exhale, stretching through the gap, really reaching through that hand. And then bring it up in line with your shoulder, rotate through that mid-spine, look to your fingers, inhale, and exhale. Make sure you're putting your hand down underneath your shoulders. We're going to do one more to each side. Hold in the middle, and then slowly exhale and stretch out to the side, holding it there. And then you're coming up in line and rotate. So final one. Through the gap, stretching out through that arm, bringing it up in line with your shoulder, rotate through that mid-spine. Arm comes down, hip comes back up, leg comes back in, coming back off those wrists and back to our jellyfish stretch for those wrists. And 2, and 1. And then we're going to come onto our backs next. So you're coming down onto your mat, thinking about your setup. So feet are hip distance apart, pelvis is in neutral, so tailbone is pointing off behind you, and there should be a little gap under that low back. Next, thinking about those ribs, so they might be jutting out to the ceiling a bit. I just want you to think about putting them down so the bottom of your rib cage is in line with the top of your hip, so rib to hip connection. This helps to engage that TBA, transverse abdominis, and your rectus abdominis, big six-pack muscle on top. Thinking about that belt, bringing your sides in, arms are just gently resting on the floor. Try not to carry any tension in those shoulders, and then from here you're just going to pick your left foot up off the floor, just hovering it above the floor. Check that you haven't kind of rolled in that direction. So a bit like when we were laying on our front, thinking about the pressure equal on your hips. So now I want you to think about it being pressure on the back, equal pressure on the back of your pelvis. Holding it there, you're going to slowly slide that leg away as you exhale. And then just hold it there, take an inhale. You can bring your foot to the floor if you need to rest. And then exhale. Slowly slide that leg back to the center. So if you want to, you can just slide your foot along the floor. Hold it when that leg's extended. Check that you're not rolling towards that leg. Take an inhale. And then exhale. Slide that leg back into the center. If you want to make it slightly more tricky, you're just going to hover that leg the whole time. So you inhale. Exhale. Slide that leg away, but don't let it touch the floor. Once it's extended, hold it, hovering above the floor. Think about that weight, make sure you haven't shifted. And then exhale, hover and slide it back into the center. Other side, taking an inhale. And then exhale. Stretching out through that leg. Check that you're keeping that pressure equal on the back of your pelvis. Hold for an inhale. And then exhale. Bring that leg back to the middle. Okay, we're going to do 2 more on each side. Really relax your upper bodies. Hovering that leg and then stretching it out or just sliding it along the floor, keeping that pressure equal on the back of your pelvis, holding it there. And then exhale. Slowly bringing that leg back to the middle, placing that foot gently on the floor, holding here for an inhale. And then other side. Stretching out through that leg, keeping that pressure equal, rib to hip connection. Little gap remains under that low back, holding for an inhale, and then you're exhaling, slowly moving that leg back to the center. So final time on each side. So lift and stretch, holding it there, no tension in that upper body. And then exhale. Bring that leg back in. Final inhale in the middle. And then exhale. Slowly take that leg away. Equal pressure on each side of your pelvis. Hold for an inhale. And then exhale. Bring that leg back to the centre. Okay. From here, you're going to bring your feet and your knees together. Now, if you want to make it slightly more challenging, take your feet away from your body. So the closer they are to your body, the easier this is going to be. Arms are coming out so they're slightly wider apart. This is just to give you a bit more balance. Try not to kind of death grip the floor. Turn your palms up if you feel like that might be happening already. Hold in the middle for another inhale. Think wide thoracic breathing. And then exhale. Just slowly let your knees together move over to the left-hand side. Just as far as you can without your shoulder blades coming off the floor. So don't roll your whole body. Think about your shoulders staying stuck to the floor. Hold it here for another inhale. And then exhale. Use those muscles in your side. So use your obliques. Bring your legs back to the center. Hold in the middle for another inhale. And then exhale. Taking it over to the other side. Hold it for an inhale. And then exhale. Back to the center. Okay, so this time we're going to add on taking out a leg as well. If this isn't quite right for you yet, just continue with what we've been doing. So hold in the middle for your inhale. And then exhale. Hold in for an inhale, extend the inside leg. And then exhale. Come back to the middle and replace that foot to the floor. Hold for an inhale. And then exhale. Other side. Hold it there. Shoulder blades stay on the floor. Ribs in line with your hips. Extend that other leg away. So the leg that's extending is always the leg that's going to get back to the center first. So it's the inside leg. Holding in the middle for another inhale. And exhale. Moving away. Hold for an inhale as you extend up through that leg. Remember, you don't have to add on the leg if you don't want to. If it's not quite right for you yet, then just leave your feet on the floor. I'm going to do one more to each side. So final one to each side. Really stretch out through that leg and then slowly bring yourself back to the center. Foot back to the floor, hold in the middle for an inhale. This is our final one, exhale. And then bring yourself into your full body stretch. Thanks for joining me for my gentle mobilization session. I hope you really enjoyed it. Check out my playlist for other videos you can do from wherever you are, whenever you like. Bye for now.